anything, or I think that's it. Okay.
All right, so do I start now?
Sure.
Sure. Good evening, folks. Welcome to our meeting, and let's get the show on the road. We start with prayer first. So I hope everybody is able to find the courage and the rhythm to come up with the good speeches, good responses to table topic master, and avoid the usual pitfalls that we have so that we can become a proficient speaker. Now, can I see the flag, please, ma'am? So I hope everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And today we are in a treat with the theme, which is kindness. In today's divided world, kindness is something which we all need to bring in ourselves and show it to other people. So we all need to have empathy toward others. So let's get the show on the road, and please welcome Sarah Manis, who is the Toastmaster for the evening today.
Thank you so much, Prashudam. A few weeks ago, I was doing my weekly call with my paternal grandma in DC, chatting about our week and anything else that came to mind. And we recently, about 2 weeks ago, we had talked about how my grandmother was getting some work done on her lawn, and she went away to this past weekend for a couple weeks to out of the state, and so ever since then, for years, she's always mentioned how wonderful it is that her neighbors and their kids have mowed her lawn in the summer, in the winter. They've shoveled her driveway. Just like, she doesn't even have to ask. Sometimes they've even gone up there and taken her trash bins out. And on our call a couple weeks ago, she was honestly really happy because her next door neighbor had just texted her to tell her that they'd called the lawn guys to cut down an old tree in her yard, and they had it taken away for her. And she's, since they've been in her life and they've helped take care of her, it's ever since my cousins and our family, we can't always be at her house to be there. So she said how wonderful it is to have her neighbors and their kids who, she's seen them grow up for years and years, to see them come by and take care of her has honestly been very meaningful for her. And I think, when done correctly, kindness can be such an asset in enhancing ours and somebody else's quality of life, both mentally, emotionally, however it's done. But first of all, now I'd like to hear from everyone else, our program team, and have you tell us your roles this evening and maybe one act of kindness somebody has done for you this week. I'd first like to announce our Word Master Grammarian, Income Donor.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to today's meeting. As the grammarian, I will be listening for awkward use or misuse of the language, any incompetent sentence, and sentence that changes direction, incorrect grammar as well. I will also listen for creative and other use of the language for today. And at the end of the meeting, I will report my findings to the team and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'd next like to add our counter. And as you heard him before, incoming donor. It's back to you.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Again, For today, I'll also be serving as the art counter. I'll be listening for distractions, any form from the speeches. I will also maintain the count, the number of times we use the word like m, and repeated words such as I mean, or, and pause fillers such as and, but, you know. And so at the end of the meeting, I will report my finding back to the club. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for pulling double duty tonight. Next, I'd like to introduce our timer and vote counter, Miss Amy Gow.
Evening, fellow Toastmasters. Great to see everybody this week. Tonight, I will be serving as timer and vote counter. Since we only have table topics tonight, you will see the green card at 1 minute. You will see the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds. And at 2 minutes, you'll see the red card. Once you see the red card, you will have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech, or you will be disqualified from the votes. I will not vote unless there is a tie. As far as kindness goes, I think there is a garden theme or lawn theme or whatever you're talking about. My landscape person was nice enough to come this past Saturday and pull those darn morning glory vines that have taken over part of my backyard. They climbed on top of all of my bushes and my flowers and was smushing everything. And it was just too much. And I asked him if he could help clear it out. And he came on a Saturday to help clear it out. So that was very nice of him. So that was, all your work is acts of kindness, I tell you, as far as that goes, especially with pulling weeds. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Amy. All right. The internet describes several types of kindness that occur between people and their actions. I looked up so many different definitions. There were lots of different rules, anything ranging from 3 rules to 3 C's to 10 rules. It was a lot to narrow down, but I've, magnanimously, I said that wrong. Somehow you narrow it down to 4 pillars of kindness. You have compassion, empathy, sympathy, and forgiveness. They're all great. All 4 of them are fantastic on their own. Compassion, having awareness for the difficulty of others. Empathy, putting yourself into someone else's shoes. Sympathy, acknowledging someone's pain. And forgiveness, letting go of the pain from being hurt by others. You can be both empathetic and compassionate in helping others and in showing and demonstrating kindness while keeping some emotional distance through sympathy without completely getting immersed in that person's problems. Now, while it looks good for our likes and views, true kindness is not a show for public consumption. Although it always looks good, it may not, it may not always be material things as well that people need. In terms of, it can look like a second chance and a new job, or maybe it can look like a house. It can be anything like a smile, or in listening to someone talk and acknowledging what they have to say with minimal judgment. Because as the golden rule states, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And in this economy and just in general, I think just true kindness in listening and being available with, obviously with boundaries, as with anything, is always very important. Now I'd like to introduce our table topics master. Helen is serving as our table topics master this evening. She hopes to come up with some questions that you will find of interest. Please help me welcome our competent communicator, competent leader, Helen Mayo, to the virtual lectern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. And I did have a question. Have we decided to have a word of the day? And if we have, what word did we pick?
Magnanimous?
Magnanimous. I need that for the minutes, that's why.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I guess I was running and grabbing my printed agenda when you were deciding, y'all were deciding on that. And as Sarah has shared, kindness can have many definitions. And one that I located said that kindness is a type of behavior marked by acts of generosity, consideration, rendering assistance or concern for others without expecting praise or reward in return. And another description that I found that really kind of resonated with me was kindness is a passport that opens doors and fashions friends. It softens hearts and molds relationships that can last lifetimes. So, what act of kindness did you do so far this year that you always want to remember? David.
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, as far as kindnesses that I would want to remember, sounds a little, I'm trying to think of the word. For much of this year, my wife and I were foster parents. We were hoping that the child we had with us, we would adopt. It eventually proved impossible. I won't go into all the reasons why. I wish her well, and I hope it works out for her at her future placement. According to the numbers, the older a child gets, the harder it is to place. And they run the risk of something called aging out, which means they become old enough that they've received some life skills training and are shown the door. She's only 11, so she still has a chance. But those, with every year, the numbers do diminish, which is why we really hated to make the decision that this just isn't going to work for us. But I hope we hear from her again, and I hope it's good things. I'm not sure where the timer is, but I think I see that I've qualified. And I'll return control of this meeting to the Table Topics Master.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Now, kindness can be challenging. So how can we show kindness to others? And Kim.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Kindness is something, from my experience, that I've had to do without having to think that I'm doing it. I've had several occasions where someone in my team would say, "Hey, I'm having challenges with this. Would you be able to help to show me how to do it?" And then I would immediately show them what or how they need to go about it. And then they will all say, "Oh, thank you very much," and go away. And then comes back again, and then I'll repeat. I've had on several occasions, and they say, Inkem is a really kind person. He has this virtue of kindness that's always around him. You can never go wrong asking for help with him. So I tend to do things like that without having to think about it. And I'm glad that my mom taught me well in doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And since we have so few people, Sarah, would you like to answer a question?
I would, yes.
Now, my dad was a very kind, caring person. And some of you have heard me describe him as Mr. Rogers, for real. He was just, my dad was fantastic. So, Sarah, who is the kindest person that you know?
Let's see. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I'm thinking of all of the people I've met in my life, and I've been fortunate to meet a lot of kind people. I would say one of the kindest has been my grandmother that I am talking about this evening. She doesn't think she's kind. She doesn't. She really doesn't. But she does things, and it's not always something that you think, oh, this person, she just does something. She just does things. And she sometimes just knows what I need at that moment. It's very interesting. And I've found myself trying to copy that sometimes. It's a little difficult. Maybe she has a lot more experience. But she has this way of listening and being very open to your answers that has been very rewarding and very fantastic in getting feedback. And she will definitely tell you if you are going too far, you're doing too much. But she is one of those people who is always there, and she is always friendly, and she is always interesting, and she is happy to learn something new. And that has been, I think, one of the kindest things is just having somebody who's willing to listen and who is happy to learn something and teach you something new. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And I can't really time because you can't see my screen, so I can't. So since we have so few people here tonight, David, would you like to time Amy? Amy, you want to do one question?
Sure. Since I've been failing as timer.
No, I saw you only did it once every other time you showed it.
Sorry, I got interrupted by my brother trying to call me. So anyway, I got distracted.
Okay. Gotcha. So David, would you be willing to time her?
Yeah, I'm trying to find any kind of timing cards, but I may just have to call it out. Ooh, I may have found something.
I'm sorry, I thought you had I don't have my screen set up that I can share colors, but oh good, I see see the yellow.
He's ready.
Yeah, I don't think this computer lets me share backgrounds, but
well,
okay.
hopefully when my daughter gets home, she can tech support whatever's happening with this.
Yeah, okay.
Thing.
All right.
Okay. Last but not least, what was the last act of kindness you saw or experienced, and how did it make you feel? Amy?
The last act of kindness that I saw today.
Or experienced.
Or experienced would be, I guess, little small things. Or else I'm just getting really old. I haven't quite figured it out. Today, I had several people hold a door open for me. So that is either I'm getting too old or it's just all being very nice. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out. But I had several doctor's appointments today, and in both coming in and coming out of the building, people held a door open for me, and I was like, oh, and there are other women. It's not usually a guy will do it, but not always other women. And so it was nice to have somebody hold the door for me. I trying to think of what else happened today that was nice. Since I went to the doctor, I had to get some prescriptions, and I went to the grocery store pharmacy to pick up my medicines. And I was suspecting, since I came from the doctor's office, that it would be a while, but I wanted to put my name in line and come back and get my meds if I needed to come back later, which I was fine with. But when I got there, the assistant took the extra step and checking with the pharmacist, and the pharmacist says, oh, it's in the queue. I could pull it out and get it to you right away. So that was also very kind of him to do and get me all situated and get me on my way back home. So I appreciate those things so that I can start my drugs and feel better. So anyway, I have a sinus infection. So maybe that's
Oh.
why I'm kind of loopy today. I don't know. So I'm sorry. Please be magnanimous to your timer tonight. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And that sets it off. So I would like someone you can use the chat button to message Amy privately and go ahead and vote for either David, Enkim, Amy, or Sarah. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. One of the basic principles of kindness, according to my grandmother, is being helpful to others by listening to what the other person needs without expecting anything in return and doing so in private. As I've mentioned her in my table topics, she is one of my role models in how to treat people. Every week, she and I will talk on the phone, and right before she hangs up, she always thanks me for calling and tells me how much she appreciates it. Now, I won't lie, it's honestly very nice to hear those words. But honestly, I love hearing about her week and all of the things she is doing at the museum and the things she has learned this week. She'll tell me about her mahjong classes. She'll tell me about how she tried to learn crochet and it didn't quite work out, but she tried. She'll tell me about the times that she and my aunt went walking and how they've decided to do weekly happy hours because that's now becoming a new thing. And she'll always hear about my week, and she does give very good advice. And in the past couple of weeks, since we talked maybe once a week or so, we do talk about kindness and how the little things like a phone call, a card, or even a gift, depending on how it is given, that can honestly last a lifetime. Just a little things. And now I'd like to non-magnanimously? Yeah, okay. I was saying it wrong, but I'm trying to say it correctly. Our general evaluator today is David Richmond. David is a lifelong resident in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. David is a senior technical writer for Tyler Technologies, where he writes documentation to support public sector clients in the field of courts and justice. He is a two-time graduate of UT Dallas and resides in Richardson with his wife Roxanne and daughter Angela. They are licensed foster parents through Buckner. Their most recent placement ended at the end of August. David has been a Toastmasters member since May 2001. He is the past club president of Hillcrest Toastmasters and a past area governor. He completed his Distinguished Toastmaster education level in June of 2013. Please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster David Richmond.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. As general evaluator this evening, I will start by calling upon the program team members to give their report. And I will begin with the Wordmaster Grammarian.
Thank you, David. For the word of the day, I would say Sarah used the word once. Amy didn't use the word. And Mayo didn't use the word. And David used the word once. Oh, yeah, over to you.
Thank you. May I have a report from the counter? I'm sorry.
All right. For the R counter, everybody used the word. Everybody, what I mean is that everybody we didn't use the word ah. Nobody used the word ah for today. So everybody passed. Exactly. Yeah,
All right,
over to
thank
you,
you.
David. Yeah.
Thank you. I think if there's anyone else I need to call upon. I don't think so. General comments for this evening. We had a few unplanned surprises thrown our way as far as people we thought were going to be here, and we had to react quickly to fill program team duty roles. And we did that. And it had an interesting meeting theme, interesting word of the day. Everybody rolled with the punches and made this thing happen. And I'd say it was a pretty decent meeting. And hopefully we'll get more people back in next week and eventually be able to resume some in-person meetings. I'll return control of this meeting to the Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to wrap up the meeting by turning the lectern over to our timer and vote counter, Amy Gal. Take it away.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. We had a small and intimate setting tonight. Our table topics winner is, drum roll please, dun, 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 Kim. Yay! He's such a nice and kind-hearted person and showing people the ropes and not getting annoyed by it sometimes. So he is always very patient and doing it over and over and helping people. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate you being a member of Hillcrest Toastmasters. Back to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. I would like to wrap up the meeting and turn control over to our president. Thank you.
Unfortunately, our presiding officer had to leave.
Okay, well, that's all, folks.
Yeah, I'm going to be the Toastmaster next week.
Okay.
So, and I don't think I'm not sure if the roles have been assigned yet or not, the other ones. They might have been.
I want to say yes.
If I go look, then I lose you guys, so I'm not going to go look, but I'm still going back and forth on what my theme is going to be.
Did you guys see the budget that I had sent out that was attached to?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did see
So that's
that.
just kind of gives everybody a feel for how much money we have in the bank, and
Yeah.
trying to figure out a little bit on the discounts we've been given because of the paying for a year. We're kind of giving a discount on the club fees. So I try to factor that in some. A lot of it is just what comes in, goes out. And so we are very comfortable. And as I stated, we should have plenty of money for hosting an open house or a nice contest or something. So hopefully we can get back to meeting in person and figure something out in the fall, with maybe attached to some holiday or something, or before or after the holiday or something like that.
Yeah, because I saw that
And
you had some budget for food or refreshments, and I was thinking, Why? You were saying that would be if we hosted an open house, then we'd have a little bit of refreshment or something. Okay, so that was that. I was only 99% sure that that's what it was for, but I thought I'd ask and get the 1%.
Well, we can always have a party and then invite, open it up to whoever friends or whoever we want to invite on Facebook or whatever. And that's always a fun time to have people come in and see a meeting and also have refreshments. So,
I do have a question.
yes.
Yeah, I did an icebreaker a while back, and it looks like I didn't record it, or I don't know how that goes again. I think
You have to do it on your pathways. You have to do it on your pathways on your Toastmaster account. So you have to log in and just check it off, I believe. And then I think Donovan has to approve it.
Okay.
So if you go into pathways and say, I've done it, I think Donovan just says, okay, then you should have, but usually he doesn't need to say okay until you get to an education level. So you have to do like up to project 5 and then you're done. Then he says it's okay. So you should be able to click on your pathways and just get credit. And if you got an evaluation, you could load it up if you wanted to, but they're in the process of revamping the whole education thing in October. So I would just hang on to it, but you can check it off and hopefully all that stuff will transfer, but not necessarily the stuff you attach up there.
All right.
As far as that's what I understand. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong, David, but that's all I understand of pathways. I haven't done that much on pathways. So
Yeah, I heard they're going to simplify it. Is that correct?
supposedly.
Yeah, that's what they said. And they said it's going to be down from October 9th to October 25th.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to do a project, get the info now before they mess it all up. So
yeah, so I would go in and enter your stuff about your icebreaker to get that all documented before it gets closed down on October 9th.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
any other questions?
So did we all agree that the budget is cool?
Mm-hmm.
Should that go in the minutes?
If you want, yeah. If there's any questions about it, let me know. But it's just kind of give you a feel for how much we have, and we're fine. We're more than fine. So we probably have too much money sitting there, but we always have it there because we used to pay for a room. So that's why we haven't spent it down. So it's nice that Central Market lets us go for free.
Yes, it is.
Then,
really good.
But we get kicked out every once in a while. But it is their big anniversary, so I understand they're having a big promo in all their stores. So I will be out next week. I'm going out of town. So, but if you guys need to pay, just give me a call and Venmo me, Zelle me, whatever. So we can walk through it. Anything else? Anything else for the good of the club?
Sounds not.
Sounds not. All right, everybody have a great week then.
Yes, everyone
You
have a
too.
really good week and see you hopefully in person next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.